Thousands of students alerted to potential shots fired near the UNCW campus. They've gotten the all clear. I'm Guarino with the live report. They are making changes just 2 intersections down at the intersection of 3rd and Dock Streets. There weren't a whole lot of visitors on Wrightsville Beach this Memorial Day, but one thing there wasn't a shortage of is a whole lot of trash. And this is still, as you can see, a very active scene here. Cars coming and going. At least a dozen vehicles still here, as well as the WPD Mobile Command Unit. We're also told that SBI is on scene, as well as the district attorney. It's time to hunker down. Florence is here. We wanted to let people know to stay off the roads. Look at how quickly this flooded in a matter of about 10 minutes. We have feet of water. It's hard to forget all of those images of the trees, branches, and debris that was left after Hurricane Florence. In total, 3 million cubic yards were collected. Now all of that debris has turned into this. I'm out here at the Cross Creek soccer field. The last time I was here was for supply donations. Before that, there were tents right where we're standing where people were forced to stay. We're here for a much happier reason tonight, though. I'm here with 2 very special trunk-or-treaters. There are still so many unanswered questions about this water right here, the water that we all drink and cook with, feed to our children and our pets. And it's pretty evident here that really nothing has changed since we were here last, and that was in January. One of those most common myths that you're safest in a car because of the rubber tires, but it's actually the car's metal exterior that keeps you safe. It markets itself as a family attraction, and it is deeply rooted in family history. Water Park opens next weekend. Memorial Day won't be open through Labor Day weekend, and you can check out way more on our website. Oh no, we're floating away. Turn around. Way more on our website, WACT.com. Brandon, John, I'll see you soon. See for yourself right now, all of these cars just flying by. Now, there are safety measures in place at this crosswalk. It is split in 2 here at 3rd and Ann, and there are lights that do flash, but neighbors say that really is not enough, and it doesn't do anything to stop the cars. Push the button, lights flash, but the cars don't stop.
I've had all situations where I go halfway, where I retreat, where I stand there and I'm like seeing the car coming, trying to judge, is he slowing down or not?
Hill Wagner lives on 4th Street and frequently takes his 2-year-old son with him for runs by the river. To get there, they have to cross 3rd and Ann, but Wagner says the safety measures in place don't cut it. On each side of the road, there are rectangular rapid flash beacons, lights that flash to alert drivers to slow down.
I would say 75% of the time people don't see it, and I can't blame them. It's kind of not very visible, and so they just go through. And I kind of feel scared every time I go through there.
He says his neighbors all feel the same, and they want something called a hawk beacon, which is a flashing red light installed. City engineers surveyed this crosswalk last May with the intention of putting a hawk beacon at that intersection.
And the pedestrian volumes here just did not reach that level.
Bennett explained the NCDOT only allows certain safety measures if state guidelines are met.
This is not just specific to 3rd and Ann. The key message here is that where you have a crosswalk, North Carolina statute states that you have to yield to a pedestrian in a crosswalk, whether it's marked, signed, has flashing lights, even the hawk signal.
So for now, Wagner is left waiting and waiting until it's time to reevaluate.
I'm always gesturing and sort of like trying to get attention to my presence at the crosswalk. Now my 2-year-old has started doing the same thing. So as soon as we get there, he starts gesturing.
And it certainly was emotional. I found myself switching back and forth between tears and extreme gratitude for all of the men and women who have lost their lives for our freedom. A crowd filled with veterans, Gold Star families, and proud Americans, all there to focus on the true meaning of this day.
Kenneth E. Amato. Edward M. Anderson.
You know, as I look at cars drive back and forth, as I look at posts on Facebook, I see many people say Happy Memorial Day. I think that some folks really don't understand what this holiday is all about.
Private First Class James McNeil, United States Army.
It's not about going to the beach and getting in your boat. It's not about having a picnic. It's not about cookouts and going down to shop and find the latest sales.
John T. Williams, United States Navy.
It's not about a 3-day weekend. It's really about honoring not those that are living and serving, but the dead.
It's about remembering the brave men and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice, fighting for our freedom.
If it was not for the brave people of yesterday, we would not stand here free today.
Private First Class Henry H. Sellers, Jr., United States Marine Corps.
Today we thank you for rising up our heroes of America's past and the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice, and for their families who had to carry on without them.
Those like Gold Star mother Leslie Butler, who lost her 25-year-old son 7 years ago.
Yes, I lost my son. He was North Carolina Army National Guard Military Police Sergeant Thomas J. Butler IV in Coast Afghanistan by an IED October 1st, 2012. He was deployed in August and was killed the first day out of the gate. It doesn't ever get easier. I see that day. I remember that day. It was like the movies where when I heard a knock on the door and I opened the door, there were 2 uniformed military men and my daughter-in-law and her father coming up my yard, so they didn't have to say anything. I knew why they were there. DJ just loved life. He just couldn't do enough. He was always helping someone. He was a good man, a very good man.
If you see an orange spotted alligator around, no need to be alarmed.
I knew we should have used pink.
A team of NC State researchers are capturing gators across the state, marking the ones they've already caught with a harmless orange wax. But let's back up a bit. Before you can mark a gator, you have to catch it. But why?
And we're looking at contaminants, but specifically perfluorinated compounds related to Gen X. And we are using the alligators because they are actually a wonderful surrogate or indicator species for human exposures and health effects.
Gear in hand, the team set out in search for gators. They're not always easy to find, and even harder to catch.
We typically use like a little frog bait or just a little lure just to try and get them a little bit closer.
Once they do, they hopefully catch it and bring it to shore.
What we do is really humane and has been a method that's been proven not to cause long-term stress or cause long-term harm to the animal. We're essentially doing the equivalent of a vet check with them. So we catch them very quickly. We immediately take a blood sample so we can get good indicators of hormones and other blood chemistry from their blood. And then we immediately measure them, determine their sex, and then we let them go right back into Greenfield Lake.
The whole process takes about 10 to 15 minutes, but the blood samples taken are providing extremely important information about concentrations of Gen X and other chemical compounds that have built up in their systems.
Right now, our studies are primarily going to tell us whether there are higher exposures associated with the Cape Fear River.
Their initial results point to yes. So far, they've found that gators caught in Greenfield Lake have on average 10 times higher concentrations of PFAS in their blood than gators tested in Lake Waccamaw. As for the orange markers,
You could see when we were capturing, it's really hard to tell which ones we've caught, which ones we haven't until we get them on shore. And at that time, you're already putting a lot of stress on the animals. So what we like to do is kind of use a really quick wax-based paint to make sure that we can see from there, oh, wait, that's orange. We've sampled that one about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Let's leave it alone for now.
May 1st marks a very momentous milestone for Miss Mary Trail. Dressed from head to toe in her favorite color, an outfit carefully chosen to celebrate her big day.
Cupcakes lined up 1, 2, 103, all in cupcakes.
You heard that right, 103. A celebration was certainly in order at Lakeshore Commons, where Miss Mary lives on her own and considers home. She doesn't have any relatives left, but said the staff at Lakeshore is her family. She also had quite a few visitors from around town.
My heart doctor was here. My dentist, Dr. Clayton Smith, he was here.
And a special visit from her pharmacist, too.
Happy birthday!
I'll follow you to the end of the world.
Now, it's not every day you meet someone who's 103, so I just had to ask for her secret to longevity.
I don't have no secret.
But she does have some rules taught to her by her father.
The first one is I don't drink alcoholic beverages because it destroys your liver, puts wrinkles on your face, and you could die.
Her second rule?
I never smoked because it destroys your lungs, also puts wrinkles on your face, and you could die.
And the third?
I like to treat people the way I like to be treated and be kind.
But her most important rule of all?
Believe in God because He created us and we didn't get here by ourselves.
It's not Miss Mary's rules that make her so loved by the Lakeshore staff, but her hugs, generously given out daily to anyone who wants one, including me. And as this bingo-loving, big-hearted woman dressed in blue gave me that huge hug, she invited me back for her 104th birthday party next year.